Foreign Affairs Minister Shirley Ayoko Botchwey says government intends to engage the Trump administration over threats to deport en masse Ghanaians and other nationals illegally resident in the U.S. In a demonstration that his anti-immigration stance during the campaign was no fluke, Donald Trump issued a controversial executive order in his first few weeks in office that banned persons from 7 mainly Muslim countries and announced plans to deport hundreds of thousands of illegal immigrants, a move that threatens some 3,500 Ghanaians. Ghana's Foreign Affairs Minister tells Joy News government plans to intercede on behalf of its nationals. There's more in this report.
Love Trump's hate. Love Trump's hate.
As some Americans and other people around the world are still struggling to come to terms with the election of Donald Trump as the 45th president of the U.S., one issue on the watch list of many is his vigorous plan to tackle immigration issues. With over 3,000 Ghanaians who are being threatened with deportation, U.S. officials say they've abused the terms of their visas. But Foreign Affairs Minister Shirley Ayoko Botchwey says government will do all it can to protect them.
We will engage the American government. Is happening, but I don't see that immediately our nationals are threatened by that order. What is he going to do? What we do as a ministry is to make sure that our citizens are protected. Our citizens, their interests are promoted and protected. It's very important.
The Foreign Affairs Minister, however, added that government is pursuing a vigorous policy to create jobs in an effort to stem the migration tide, and dismissed recent reports she's okayed the deportation of undocumented migrants.
I never ever said that undocumented Ghanaians should be brought back, whether they are in America or Germany. Nothing. When you read the transcript or listen to the audio, nothing of the sort was said. It was just a reaction from questions that had been asked. And I said that this is not a bad place. So please come back, rather than you go and be killed in countries where you're being maltreated, treated in all kinds of ways, unacceptable ways. Come back and let's build the country. That was all I said. The ministry can never, ever, we can never try to reach some agreement with any country to bring back undocumented nationals. Let me also say that our nationals outside the country, their remittances help build this country.
The National Association of Graduate Teachers is impressing on government the need to invest in the training of teachers to help them deliver quality services to students. The call comes as President Akufo-Addo set September this year to implement his free senior high school policy. The free SHS program would ensure, among others, that there are free textbooks, free meals, in addition to free tuition fees for students who qualify to enter SHS. Speaking earlier on News Desk, NAGRAD President Christian Dadao-Poku also asked government to ensure speedy release of funds to support the initiative.
It has come at a time that the nation has also invested so much in infrastructure already. As we speak, money for administration of schools and district offices have been in arrears since 2011. Those are the things that work against quality education. So as government is going to roll out this policy, which we think is a very good idea, we also caution government that they should be mindful of the need to adhere to timeous release of funds and educational resources, not only in the money, but also talk about textbooks, talk about workbooks, talk about teaching and learning materials, talk about teachers and the timeous payment of their salaries when they are recruited, and so many others. Because if my memory serves me well, the immediate past government indicated that they had commissioned about 70 new senior high schools, and they have about 150 at various levels of completion. So most of them are not yet populated to capacity. So some of these things will come in to fill the gap for now while government continue to explore other avenues to make sure that they expand facilities to create equity. Because the next question that comes up is, what about those in the boarding houses? Those who are day students will now crave to be boarders too, and the boarding facilities will not be able to accommodate all of them.
He also said once enrollment was expected to increase, government must also recruit more teachers and train them.
As enrollment soars, it means teachers' responsibility will go up. You need more teachers to be able to deliver the education to the children. And that means that government will have to recruit. So we have encouraged, we discussed it at the meeting that there will be the need for them to open up recruitment and recruit more teachers. And then also change the system whereby teachers are recruited and for 1 year they are not paid and so on. They should make sure that they put mechanism in place such that within the 3 months of their recruitment, every teacher will be paid. In measuring quality, there are 3 cardinal things we look at: quality teachers, quality tools, and quality environment. And the quality teachers means, 1, a well-trained and retrainable teacher. What it means is that after going through the normal training to become a teacher, to be certificated, from time to time, the system must train you because the world continues to change. There are teachers who were trained in 1970s and 80s and they are still in the system. At that time, there was nothing like computer. Today, the little kid in kindergarten 1 can even operate the computer. And so if the teacher does not also retrain himself, he will not be able to be abreast of time. And so there is the need to constantly retrain teachers, give them in-service training and others. It is cardinal. Professional integrity is protected when these things are done. And we don't normally see this happening in Ghana. And we need to abreast ourselves of the modern ways of teaching. And that means teachers must be continuously retrained.
Watching Joy News Prime, we're taking a break, but when we come back, we have fresh information on the Bank of Ghana contracts, multi-billion dollar contract or CD contract awarded for the integration of the country's mobile money platforms. That and many more. Please stay tuned. Welcome back to Joy News Prime, and on to the rest of our stories. Well, one big story that's dominated the headlines in the last few days is this contract, multi-billion city contract, said to have been awarded by the Bank of Ghana to integrate the mobile money platforms of the country. The contract is said to is attracting quite a bit of controversy, especially because the winning bid was way more expensive than the 2 other bids supposedly that were put in for this particular contract. Now, my colleague George Raffi, he's been speaking with the deputy governor of the Bank of Ghana. He has fresh information. He's joined me in the studio and he's going to be sharing that information with us. Good evening to you, George. So one of the first things that we're told about this contract is that it's costing some 4.5 billion cedis. Now, what have you been able to find out?
What I picked up from the Bank of Ghana is that they are still negotiating the final value of the project, and that will be way, way below the 4 billion that has been quoted because there are problems with it, and therefore they are negotiating with this final bid winner to ensure that it comes way below this amount, to be somewhere in the hundreds of millions instead of the 4 billion that we were initially told. That will be the value of this whole project.
Now, what does the project seek to achieve, or what is the Bank of
Well,
Ghana
to the layman, it's more of an independent firm that is helping to coordinate the payments across these mobile platforms. So it's an independent firm that's trying to, more like a clearing house for checks. The same thing has to do with this mobile money payment system. So it's going to act like a clearing house, more like an independent firm, to facilitate the payments of these transactions across the various telcos. And therefore, what the Bank of Ghana was saying, that they need a firm that is experienced, well-established, has the necessary equipment to do this. And that is why they actually settled on this particular company. But even with respect to going forward, if there's a belief that this company is not good to go ahead, we could still have GIFS partner with this particular company going forward to ensure that whatever this experience this company is bringing on board will support what Gibbs is supposed to be doing right now with respect to this particular function.
All right. Now, from what we've heard so far, this company that's supposed to have won the contract has been in operation for less than a year. So, what experience is the deputy?
I think that from again, what we are picking up is about it's more of a subsidiary of a bigger firm, and again, this is what we are just picking up from them. Therefore, this company is going to fall on the experience of the bigger parent company in terms of executing this project. So even though they've not been in operation for quite a long while, they falling on their mother company to do this would help them do this. And that is what the Bank of Ghana is saying. As independently establishing that, I think that we still have more work to do and still digging to find out whether indeed it's true that this company has what it takes and is going to fall on its mother company or parent company in trying to execute this whole project.
Are they suggesting that there has not been any finality on the company that's going to...
Again, this is what I picked up from the Bank of Ghana. They haven't closed the deal yet. Even as we speak, they are still engaging them on the final price that should be paid for this whole project. And that's what I told you, that we understand that it will come to way below into the millions, maybe possibly like 400 million or even 100 million.
Now, is there any explanation as to why the Bank of Ghana chose to go for the company that bid or said it was going to do this at a cost of 4.5 billion cedis, as against the others who bid, putting far lower bid somewhere in
again, this is what we are picking up from the Bank of Ghana. And the argument was that they were looking at more of experience and the ability to do the job and all those things. So that is why they settled on that company, believing that when they even settle on that company, they can negotiate to bid the price down. So among all the other firms that actually put their submissions or tabled the project, they thought that this particular company had what it takes in terms of following its parent company to execute this job. But as to whether indeed that's the reality on the ground, we're still going to find out whether that's the case on the ground, compared it to what the Bank of Ghana is saying.
Is there any room at all for the Bank of Ghana to completely go back on this contract and forget it?
We're still trying to get those fine details, but just going with the normal contractual arrangement and all those things, it looks like it might be difficult for that contract to be abrogated right now. There could be some negotiations on the final price.
It's not been finalized.
It's not been finalized, but I'm just saying that too, because if that company, we understand that when the company got the commitment, they could have gone ahead to secure additional funding and all those things. And therefore, based on that, if you go ahead to abolish this contract right now, it could come with some judgment death issues. And that again, that is what we...
Who's the deputy governor you've been speaking with?
With the Johnson Isiama.
Johnson Isiama. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Israel.
George Riafe. So that's what we have on the multi-billion city, supposedly, contracts that the Bank of Ghana is awarding to a company to work on integrating the country's mobile money platforms. Now, the continuous felling of shea nut trees in Ghana's Savannah Belt is negatively affecting livelihoods in some of the country's most vulnerable areas. Shea butter making, an economic activity that employs a majority of women in the 3 regions of the north, is now under threat as degradation of shea trees persists. Joining us is Justice Beidou. He's been to the northern region capital, Tamale, to find out more and sent us this report.
In northern Ghana, shea butter making is big business, not least because it is the biggest employer for women here. I met these women in Wulugu, more than 70 kilometers north of the northern regional capital, Tamale. Many times it's been referred to as the cocoa of northern Ghana. Estimates say more than 1 million women are involved in the production of shea butter for a livelihood. But for years, there's been barely any sustainable investment into this venture. Many women still go through such crude methods like this to produce the butter. But now they face an even daunting challenge. Climate change threatens even the availability of the nuts with which they use to produce the butter. Alice Dawuni has been in this business all her life. Now, for her and the several women involved in this, finding the sheer nuts for their work is getting increasingly tough.
These days, we can't even get the nuts to prepare the batter. Now we have to go deep into the villages to find the sheer nuts. The trees have all been cut down. The shea tree takes time to mature and produce nuts, but because all of them are being cut for full, we don't have the trees to produce the nuts.
Deforestation has now reached alarming levels, especially in Ghana's Savannah belt. And as the very important shea trees are being brought down, so are the livelihoods of the several thousands of women that depend on the trade. Rabiatu Abubakari works with more than 600 women just outside Tamale to produce shea and buys them off for export.
When you go to Bolga Road, it is more than 10 acres land. They take off all the shea nut tree and planted the mango tree. I saw it with my eyes. And in fact, when this Arabian care was taking that shea nut firewood, there were more than 10 trips.
Northern Ghana already accounts for some of the country's poorest, with at least 1.3 million of the most vulnerable living in northern region alone. Any development that threatens already existing economic activity could only worsen the situation. Justice Beidou, Joy News, Tamale.
Now, armed police are said to have entered the campus of the Kumasi Technical Institute, firing tear gas and rubber bullets. The firm's Erastus Asarodonko reports that some students who are asthmatic have had an episode, and as a result of the tear gas, a number of students and teachers have also been arrested, while some have sustained injuries. Now, joining me on the phone line now is Erastus Asarodonko.
Madam.
Good evening to you, Erastus.
Yeah, good evening, Israel.
Now, why has the police invaded the institute?
Well, Madam, can I speak with you for a moment? Well, let me just speak with a teacher here, and your question is not clear because it doesn't make sense or logic in a way what I'm seeing right here, where police have chased students from the stadium area. They ran to their campus. The armed policemen have chased them onto the campus, fired tear gas on campus to the extent of beating up students in dormitories. I have seen that. And there is a teacher here who as well, tell me, what happened? What did they do to the children on the
I went there. The lights were off, so I couldn't identify anybody there. But you could see beatings of students. They are beating students.
Where? Beating them where?
In their dormitories. The students have locked their doors. They will knock, open it, break through it. Then they identify them with their outside, and they're beating them inside. So later they had officers should get down. They climbed up, so they said they should all get down. So they all came down. Policemen, they all got down, and they're gone.
What have the students done?
Actually, I was a little late to campus. I was coming from the stadium. I saw students run the main gate, going to their dormitories. And I think it was supper time, all rushing to the dining hall. So all those in the dining hall also had to run to the dormitory. And I asked why. I said they are policemen. So tell you what happened, that one I can tell.
Well, Israel, that's a frustrated teacher here. And I have witnessed it firsthand here. When we came in, the police were firing tear gas on the campus. It's an enclosed location close to the WAEC office. Now, we have a lot of students who had gathered in their dormitories, some running helter-skelter, some students fainting on the ground. Those who were asthmatic couldn't contain the smoke. So personally, I have seen about 3 students, some with cuts and bruises, some unconscious, and there is this teacher here who was attending to them when I came in. Tell me, what had happened to these students you were trying to resuscitate?
They brought them unconscious. So we decided to revive them, and we did all we can. So we took them to the hospital. Some were injured, a deep cut, and not wanted them over here, and we sent them to the hospital.
Why? Why all this?
It came when they were happy, jubilating from stadium, and we don't know what happened. You know, so even if they've done anything to them, supposed to, you push them to their school, they leave them, but you enter the school and beat them up, and we don't know what they're after. So we are waiting to see tomorrow, and then we will see if we will talk to them and know why they did that.
Well, so these are staff teachers of the Kumasi Technical Institute. I'm still here. The whole place is in darkness, whether deliberately or not, because there's power all around. But I'm getting information that they've cut power deliberately. Whether it's the school administration or the police, I am not sure at the moment. But per the explanation I've been given by some, sending them from the stadium area after placing fourth at the ongoing inter-schools competition, they decided to come in jubilation. And so they were coming in numbers. And then at a point in time, the police accosted them midway and got hold of one of the boys and started shocking him with tasers. And so they became angry and reacted. And more policemen got off the truck and started beating the students. The students reacted by throwing stones. And then it turned into a clash between the police and the students. And they chased them onto the campus, which is about some meters from the stadium, and firing tear gas and rubber bullets here as well. So that is the position of the teachers. None of the policemen will speak to us, so we do not know why they are chasing them onto the campus and beating them as well.
All right, Erastus, now I'd want to believe from what you've just told us that it could be that these students probably offended the police in a way, and the police are looking for particular culprits, and in their bid to look for them, they just decided to descend on, vent their spleen on just about everybody else. I'd want you to try and figure out, I know you have your sources in the police, and so I'd want you to use those sources and see what you can get so that we can come back to you for an update on the situation and why exactly the police had to do this, and what at all the authorities may want to do about it. In the meantime, we're also trying to work our sources to work the lines to see if we can get reach the Ashanti Region Police Command to understand what exactly is happening or what exactly has happened on the Kumasi Technical Institute's campus in the last 1 hour. You're watching Joy News Prime. We're going to be taking a break. When we come back, we'll bring you business news. Doctors at the Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital are alarmed by uncontrolled public access to caustic soda and its associated risk. Dr. Michael Amwa of the Pediatrics Unit says the situation is getting out of hand. Mahmoud Mohamed Nuruddin reports.
The pediatric surgeon has been attending to 2-year girl victim of domestic coastal soda accident. Little Akosia Ousua has a burnt mouth and throat as a result of the unfortunate situation. Dr. Amwa says Akosia needs to undergo surgery to correct the deformity. This will cost 15,000 Ghana cedis, which the parents cannot afford.
The child at the moment is not able to feed through the mouth. This is as a result of an injury that she sustained from the ingestion or swallowing of caustic soda, the chemical that is used in making soap. And this causes chemical burns in the mouth and in the throat. And because of that, the food pipe becomes damaged, such that the person is not able to feed or swallow food through the food pipe into the stomach. So that is the condition that the child is having. As you can see, she can't even swallow saliva. Yes, so because of that, we have to find a means of giving food to the child. And initially we have placed a tube into the stomach, which shows over there. And that is where the child is being fed to. Because I realized that the parents cannot afford, and that is a normal thing that we do. When we realize the parents cannot afford, we have to find, people or companies to come in to help. So we wrote a letter, and then it was sent to the company. It happens to be where the child is coming from. That is where the incident happened. And as part of their corporate social responsibilities, they decided that they would take up the bills and then.
Thanks to Fiasma Rural Bank's decision to step in to provide a lifeline.
Had it not been for their alertness, we wouldn't have also gotten none of it, though it was streaming on the media, in fact, Adom TV and all of those things. But when we saw the communication from their end, it gave it some level of seriousness, so we had to follow it up. And some way, somehow, to the small girl in question is also from the community within which we are established. And as a bank, we have it as part of our core obligations to make sure that we provide support to the needy. It is not just for medical care situations as we have it here, scholarships and what have you. So Fiasman has been involved in some of these corporate-related social responsibilities for a while.
Doctor, I'm a letter. SSS. Sikano so anyadia meeting to me compare adofo more.
I was given a letter by the doctor stating there was no way they can operate on my child due to the amount of money they requested. By God's grace, Fiasimai Rural Bank came to my aid and paid the amount requested. I am very grateful to them.
Dr. Amwa appeals to government to introduce appropriate measures to regulate distribution and handling of coastal soda in the country.
In fact, it's an alarming situation, I must say. For the past 2 or so years, we've been embarking on some educational programs. What we do is when we get a patient, we identify the community or the locality, let them assemble all the people who are involved in the use of this chemical in making soap. Then we go and educate them on how to handle the chemical in such a way that children will not get access to it. So far, that is what we've been doing. I think if the government can also come in to put in some measures such that the access to this chemical will be limited to a few, if possible, only manufacturing companies, so that it will minimize the incidence of these conditions.
Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin reporting.
Right, so President Akufo-Addo has named 11 persons to the Council of State, or the yet-to-be constituted Council of State. Now, with the naming of the appointment of the 11, it awaits the election of regional representatives, which is going to be happening this Thursday. I'm going to be taking you through a statement that we've gotten, and it names the people as such: Nana Uto Srebo, the second Dwabe Hene, and Mr. Sam Okujeto, Nana Kofi Obri Ejire, the second, Mr. Stanley Ejiri Blangsing, who is a former mayor of Accra, Mrs. Alberta Kujo, Alhaji Aminu Amadu, Dr. Margaret Amakunhene, Alhaji Sahenum Mokhtar, Mrs. Georgina Kusi, Alhaji Sule Yeremia, and Mr. Pa Kofi Ansong. So these 11 have been appointed. But the president also goes on to say the subject to the approval of Parliament also has appointed, in accordance with Article 89, Section 2, Section A, and A, 2, and 3, General J.B. Dankwa, a former Chief of Defense Staff of the Ghana Armed Forces, and Nana Owusu Insiam, a former Inspector General of Police to the Council of State. But goes on to say there is no living former Chief Justice. The President is therefore unable to propose a name for the approval of Parliament in accordance with the Constitution. It goes on to add that the President of the National House of Chiefs, Dr. Further the 14th, is ex officio a member of the Council in furtherance of Article 89.2, and said the composition of the council will be complete with the election of the representatives due to be held on Thursday, February 16, 2017. So now the elections to be held on Thursday. One of the interesting names that has popped up as contesting to want to get onto the council is veteran politician E.T. Mensah. Now, he's been a member of parliament for 20 years plus, and he's held several ministerial positions in various NDC administrations. Now, my colleague Evans Mensah, he spoke with him and asked him, despite his political affiliation, why does he want to be on the Council of State that's supposed to advise President Kufuor-Addo? But he says he's going there to provide non-partisan advice to the president.
I, across the aisle in Parliament, walked to me and said, the experiences that I've acquired, I cannot go and sit at home with it, and that they were recommending to me that I should run for the Council of State position. So I thought of it, bounced it on a few other colleagues and friends, and they thought it was a brilliant idea, and that I should, give it a try. And that was what pushed me into it. Long before the election was held, this suggestion was made. I can talk about, Honorable Ajakon. I can talk about Honorable Jerry Akwe Thompson. Quite a number of them. And some of my friends, NDC, both NDC and MPP, made the suggestion. And I think we have a lot to offer.
You are a founding member of currently the biggest opposition party, the NDC. You've held several positions. Can you work with Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, a man that you've campaigned against many times in your political career, if you're elected as a rep for Greater Accra?
It's quite interesting. Something that we don't know. I mean, people are able to work together at the assembly level. We're able to work in Parliament together. We've been there for 20 years, worked together with, a speaker from the opposition and a speaker in our government. And, I mean, nobody's heard anything wrong about it. We need to understand what political class means. So I don't see what people are talking about.
The MTN Foundation is aiming to collect and restock the national and regional blood banks with 2,017 pints of blood in commemoration of its 10th anniversary. To achieve this, the foundation says 12 centers it calls bleeding centers have been set up nationwide for MTN employees and the general public to donate blood. Fred Kwame Asare reports on the Valentine's Day blood donation exercise at the Whole Collection Center in the Volta region.
The MTN Foundation has, over the last 5 years, organized a blood donation exercise on Valentine's Day to help restock the national and regional blood banks, except this year's exercise coincides with the foundation's 10th anniversary.
6 years ago, MTN responded to a distress call from the National Transfusion Service, and we organized a blood donating program just like this one. And so it's just to help support stock our blood banks nationwide with enough blood. I mean, contribute to making blood available so as and when they are needed for patients who need them, there'll be some available for them to use.
The Volta Regional Blood Donor Recruiter, Vincent Kwesi Fekpe, who lamented bitterly on the perennial shortage of blood at the regional blood bank, lauded the initiative by MTN Foundation. He was grateful the Volta Regional Blood Bank, which currently has less than 100 pints of blood, would be restocked with sufficient blood.
To the public, I would like to make a special appeal that they should see the blood bank as their own, or they should own it, because we don't have artificial blood. Anybody that needs blood at the various hospitals in the region, and for that matter, the whole country, if we don't donate blood, we will not be able to get blood for such a person. So my appeal is that we should make it our social responsibility to donate at least a unit of blood to help save the life of those people. Now, looking at the population of the Volta region, which is over 2 million based on the 2010 population census, our blood requirement is over 20,000 annually. And if just one person can donate a unit of blood every year, I'm sure we will be able to, get blood for people to save their lives.
The foundation aims to raise 200 pints of blood at the Volta Region Center. Fred Kwame Asaris reports for Joy News.
Commercial motorcycle operators, locally known as Okada, are making a strong case for the legalization of the operations. According to these operators, the incidence of crime is reduced as most of them are now employed in the Okada business. Ex-convict Osman Moro, in an interview with Joy News, explained he has not returned to crime after his release from prison, as he is employed in the Okada business. He contends the ban on Okada may push himself and many other young men back into crime. Joy News' favor, Nunu has been engaging with Okada operators who have given the strongest indication of the threat a ban portends to Ghanaians.
Last week, members of parliament from rural constituencies reacted to concerns raised by other colleagues regarding the operations of Okada riders. According to Mavis in Kansa Boydu, MP for Efija Sector East, the Okada operators were main culprits of indiscipline on our roads. This was met with some objection from colleagues on the floor who made a case for regulation rather than an outright ban. Meanwhile, the Motor Traffic and Transport Department of the Ghana Police Service are opposed to the legalization of commercial motorbikes. But for some of these operators, the Okada business has removed them from a life of crime, and any attempts to frustrate them may become costly to the state. Osman Noro is an ex-convict who now works as an Okada rider.
I get 4 pickings. If it this work now, I tell you. With a motorbike ride, it be work and pay. The police people there, them to do their work. But that is the cost you go. But mostly of them take bribe from us. Mostly of them. Some you go fish show on your license, your everything, but what he need from you, you make sure you take it from you before you are allowed to go. If they say they go ban Okada, but me I go jail 7 years. I cause jail. I this 18 December.
He enters jail 7 years. I don't feel law you. But if work no day, my man, what thing you go fit take put our pocket, or what thing you go fit chop? We can't give us money. No.
So for you, this has saved your life. Is that the case?
Yeah. If you know be this work, I go steal. I will do the robbing plan. If you know be this work, there was this work, it be fast. You go get the money fast. You understand me? If this work no come there, like by this time, what will happen for me? I don't know. Either they go kill me or I will kill the work.
I paid a visit to an inner city in Accra, where most of the youth worked as Okada operators. Here is Long Life.
Our elders don't know they think of us. We are bad boys. We know lot. We know how to steal. We know how to rob it. Right now, like this, I can call Samla, buy any phone you get. I'll get that the same thing to stand for anywhere.
You mean the bomb?
You bomb because we know go let me chop. So if I can't say boss, we be connection. It we know say be connection. You go store, they buy like 30 million. But you black man, if I say 4 million, 5 million, you say you go bring that, you go pay. But later we go no say it be like this. It be Africa we buy. Oh, we know say it no good. So we decided to hustle. But our elders know the grass. They should legalize Okada. Our especially our governor, if for legalize Okada for us. See people are legalize homosocial, and you can't legalize Okada for we citizens to work. We are not talking say regardless homosocial for us. We are not dealing about regardless game for us to do. Regardless Okada for us, you say no go agree. I see the people, see South Africa, see American them things. They regardless everything for us. They so that they are citizens with freedom. But we are we don't know why.
Visibly angered by the plans to crack the whip on them, he pointed out to other dealings they may be involved in if the MTTD carries out this plan.
So later, we go come later Ghana here. If you be big man, then sorry for yourself. Because we go capture your keys. I mean, we capture your kid, we tell you, say, bring like millions of millions. It you bring her. Because we want job, our family want to live bigger. And you people alone want to live bigger. We don't go live bigger. Then later, if I know die, you go die. Then later, me too, I can't live bigger.
The Okada station manager at SEC, Alhassan Ouattara, who says government should help regulate the business rather than ban it.
We are trying to appeal to our big men. A poor person in the system, if he can only get his 3 times a meal and sleep well, bath small, and go see his small baby and chat, he doesn't care about what government got. No. Even when we are talking about government, they will say, oh, politics.
The debate continues unabated, but for a shadow economy that has created jobs for many while absorbing the likes of Osman crime into gainful employment, it is high time that Parliament debates the matter extensively on the floor of the House and bring a finality to the business of commercial motorcycle operations in Ghana. Reporting for Joy News, Favor Nunu, Accra.
Now, decades ago, greeting cards were a symbol of love, and occasions such as birthdays, anniversaries, and Valentine's Day were incomplete without it. Even though it is common to find them in gift shops, the cards don't seem to be as popular as they used to be back in the day, largely due to modern communication technology. As Ghanaians celebrate Val's Day, we found out on the streets of Accra if greeting cards still have the love they once commanded.
Greeting cards were a big deal, as most people would go the extra mile to express their love and best wishes by sending cards. However, with the introduction of the internet and smart messaging devices, the excitement in sending cards seems to be declining. We asked this woman the last time she sent a card to a loved one.
All my life, I have never bought one before. If someone is celebrating their birthday, I buy them something they can keep and remember. After reading the message, they just throw the card away. I buy them a cloth or something valuable they can remember anytime they use it.
This man has a similar opinion.
Oh, this that's school days. That is in the 90s. Yeah.
Why don't you buy them anymore?
Oh well, these days we are in the IT world. Whatever the car will do, I can send it through WhatsApp and other mediums. So I don't see the reason why buying greeting card or love card or something. I don't see the reason.
Others have made it a ritual to send a card, even with the seeming old-fashioned nature of greeting cards.
Well, major occasions, birthdays, anniversaries, obviously Valentine's Day today, and occasionally just for the hell of it. I actually buy her little teddy bears when I travel. So the teddy bear is kind of and she keeps all of them.
But there are people who believe that buying a card is done once in a while to emphasize the effort behind their message. I met this young man as he dashed into Quick Pick to get a Valentine's card for his wife.
Love is something special, and shivers run down my spine when you put your arms around me and tell me that you're mine. And inside it says, just have to tell you I love you lots and lots and lots and lots.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, I do love her lots.
Oh. Hesitant to speak on camera, the salesman at Quick Pick tells me patronage has declined over the years. However, this sales lady at Duval, a popular gift shop on the St. Valentine's Road in Osu, says patronage for gift cards have increased more than ever.